So, hi. I thought I'd make a video about a thing I bought. I guess we're going to call this an unboxing. The thing is that I got my first coffee grinder back in, I think it's 2016. And it was one of these silver colored Wilfa ones. They were very popular at the time. I remember my brother had one and it worked just fine. And I had it for, let's say, 6 years. I don't remember. But then the knife or the grinding head basically broke because one of the coffee beans actually got caught in it for some reason. If it was too hard or if it got stuck somehow. Just one day it made this strange noise and I opened it up and, it was broken. So I got one from a friend, a really cheap one, for a while. I just used it. Started looking around, didn't really find anything, and then I got this cheap one for, I think it was €9 or something, at Lidl. I think it was their own brand, Silverstone. It worked really fine. But the problem has always been, even with the Wilfa one I had, I think it was like 60, €70, and it worked really well. But one thing that always bothered me with coffee grinders is, first off, there's never a place to put the coffee beans. It's just, you put it, you're supposed to measure, you're supposed to weigh your coffee beans so you get the right amount and then put them into the grinder, then grind them, and then put them into your coffee filter, and make coffee. And I've seen over the years that there are versions, that have big containers for the coffee beans, and then you can actually set it to how many cups you want it to grind. You can choose what type of grind you want, like if you want espresso or if you want very, not espresso, let's say, like coffee, and then you can choose the amount of cups, and you can just have it on that, and you just press the button. And every time you press the button for grinding, it will give you the number of cups you chose, let's say 4 or 6 or 8. I usually make like 8 cups. That's what my coffee maker can make, like, I think it's 10. But I have this thing that I have the coffee in, and I think it takes like 8.5 cups, and it's full. So I always have it on 8. I always want to make 8 cups. So I looked around, and I've seen a lot of reviews on YouTube of coffee grinders, but it's always been this, like, usually they have like 10 different ones. They have like a couple of really cheap ones, and then a little bit more expensive, a little bit more, and then it always goes up to these really expensive ones. And we were talking like hundreds of euros. And the one that I've always seen in these reviews, and that is usually popped up with a decent price, around, €50, whatnot, that has all the functions that I wanted, has always been in these tests. But, they always skip through the cheap ones and say, it's there and it's okay, it's on par with these ones. And you're like, okay. So, and I think there's been a couple of reviews of them, but it's been in like Spanish and things. So I've never understood, never really gotten a good, decent enough review impression. Like, is it a good grinder? But now actually they had it on sale at a place decently near me. So I got it for like €42 ish. So it's like, oh, there's a cat in the background. Who knew? Well, why not? Anyways, so I got it. I think since there was a sale on it, so I thought I'd make an unboxing of it. Let's look at it. It's this one. I think this is pretty for people that use coffee grinders. I don't know if they've come across it, but they've seen it in reviews, and so I thought, let's make an unboxing of it, and then maybe I'll get back with a review of it once I've used it for a while, and maybe even make a video how good it works. We'll see. So this is a pretty common one. You can see there in the bottom there, it says max 200 grams, and that's the container on the top there. And a normal pack of coffee beans in Sweden is usually at 500 grams or sometimes 400. So it's still half a pack. But before, I always had to have, the 500 grams of coffee beans in a separate container. Then I'd have to use some kind of spoon or something to put it onto a glass jar that was on a scale, and I'd have to weigh them. And I usually take like 6 or 7 grams per cup of coffee. So you'd have to measure that up, then put them into the grinder, and then take the container out of the grinder. This one also has one here on the bottom. But, you know, let's just open it up and see what's in here. You can see that on the picture if you pause. So let's see. You're not going to be able to see really that much, I realize now. But here's the instruction manual, obligatory. I don't know. This thing is pretty self-explanatory, I think. Oh, so it's one of these you pull out. Let's try to oh there. There goes the microphone. I didn't think of it. Well, whatever. Let's just put the mic back and do some editing there. It'll be all good. So here's the empty box. Put that away. Okay. So here's the top top half. Okay. So here's the grinder itself. It's just, you know, I had a top part, just similar to the bottom one. Let's take it out. I mean, the packaging, it's not really something you care about, I think, when you buy a grinder or whatever you buy. You want to know if the product is any good. And that's the thing. I've never seen any reviews of it. No one talked, done an in-depth review. I've seen, I think, the maker, they have one of their own, but it's not a review. It's just an ad, and of course they're going to tell you it's a top-notch thing. But let's see. So here we go. So on the top here, let's see. Oh, you just take it off like that. Okay. And then there's this cover here. Okay, so there's let's take this out too. It's just a brush. There's a grinder. Let's see if you can see it. Yeah, or just somehow. I'm guessing this turns, lets the beans down. Okay, and so this is just a protective cover. This in there. You don't really need it. Let's take off this lid here. Oh my God, that was. Oh well. There's some plastic there, of course. Okay, and this container here. Let's put the grinder aside. Let's see. So this is you see these small things. You want to know in a review, like, is this any good? Okay, so you can take off the whole one. Oh, you see? I haven't seen that in a single review. The Willful one I had a hinging lid that opened like this. And, after some decent use, of course it broke. But you could still put it on because one of the hinges was still there, so you could put it on and it stayed there. Because the thing with all grinders that I've used is that once you process the beans through it, it will create a really big amount of static in the container. So that's why you always get these brushes. Let's open that up. Actually, I have a brush already. You know what? I'm going to save this one. But you can see it's a standard brush. And as I said, you get a really decent amount of static in these. So what you want to do to get it all out, you use the brush, and then maybe you want to do you just want to lightly tap it on something. And that's what broke the hinge off the Willful one I had. So that wasn't really a good construction. Then this is a lot better. Just take it off, and then once you've used it, or cleaned it up, put it back, and then, let's see. Oh, now it's like more, but it still sits in there decently. Oh yeah, there's no chance of that moving. So let's go through it. So we have this top part here. Let's put the lid. Oh, it goes. That feels a little bit. This thing here. It feels like it would not want to have it on the other way, but I don't want. Let's see. Okay, so it's just. I wouldn't say tricky to put it on, but well. And the thing is, you could actually. I wonder if there's since it says max 200 grams, let's see if it has a max indicator in here. No, not that I can tell. Huh. If it says on the box max 200 grams, I would think you'd have. Let's see if you can feel it. No, there's nothing. Is it me or is it me? Okay, so they want you to actually measure up 200 grams. I'll get back to you on that once I use it, because this lighting here right now makes it, this is black and the sunlight's coming in, so it could be me just. And once again, so what does that part do? You see, there's this part there. Yes, sits. This feels, oh, well, it goes on anyway. So what you have on the front here is what I was talking about. This is actually, you said amount of cups here. Let's see how, okay. So let's put it on 6. Then I usually make the 6, 7, okay. That does not inspire confidence. It sure clicks, but it feels like it's, stuck somewhat. If that makes sense. Well, that's, and you see, one of these things too in a review you would want to know. You'd think it would only jump between the markings, but it doesn't. Like if I move it now, let's see. You see the white dot there? Let's move it. No. Let's do it this way. You see? Let's go. You see, so you thought, if you look at this, like on a promotional picture or something, you'd think it would jump only between them. But it doesn't. No, of course not. It actually goes, all these small things that you would like to know about a coffee grinder, because once you get one of these, you'd think, but you can move it both ways, so it's not terrible. And then on this side, there's this, here you see? Let's see what it says there. Here you go. Yeah, so you can actually choose the grinding level on it. So 1 to 3 is espresso, then 2 through 13 is filtered coffee, and then you have French press. And French press, of course, is the less grinded sort of coffee. So you choose there what you want, and they also, I think it says in the manual that you can adjust that while it's grinding to see the difference. Like if you're making a decent amount of cups, let's say 10, it will take a while, so you can actually, you set it on what you think you want, but maybe you see initially that, oh, this is just too, I need more grind on it, I need it better grinded, so you can actually adjust it while it's doing its thing, so to speak. So that's basically it. And I mean, as I said, and then once you've adjusted all these things, you can leave them. Like if it's like me, I only do filtered coffee, and I only do my 6 to 8 cups. Let's say I do 8 cups mostly. So I set it to 8 there. I set it to what I want outside here, and then I just use this on/off button, button 2, and that's what I have to do. And I don't remember now, because the thing is, in Sweden for a decent amount of time now, coffee beans have been really expensive. Coffee has been expensive, but beans have been more expensive. So I haven't actually bought any coffee beans. I bought some like a month ago, just before I bought this one, so I haven't used them. But before that is like a year or something, where I've only bought, I don't know what's it called, just, not pre-filtered coffee, but pre-grinded coffee. I don't know what you call it, but that's the most common kind of coffee in Sweden. You buy these packs of 500 grams, and that's been the least expensive. It's still been expensive. Like a pack of coffee before inflation started, before the war in Ukraine and whatnot, I think a pack of coffee in Sweden would have run you like 3.5 euros. And then if you wanted the coffee beans for that sort of thing, I think it was like 4 euros. And then when inflation was at its worst, I didn't even look at the beans, but the 500 gram packs that was ready to go would run you like 8.5, even 9 euros. So you see, and then the beans would have been like 11, 12 euros probably, instead of 4. So that's the reason I haven't bothered for a while. And as I said, this grinder here, I've been looking for this one, or looking at it for since my first decent one broke a couple of years ago. And then I found this cheap one on Lidl, and it worked just fine. But still, they all have the same problem, the ones that I've had since I actually got my first grinder, is that you could not set it on a certain amount of cups. And that's also going to be interesting to see, because of course you can use this as a timer, like if you know how much you grind. But I want to see, like, if I fill this up with 200 grams of coffee, I set this on 8 cups, and I find the right grind here on the side here. I just use it like every morning I get up, I just push this button, it will make it will grind 8 cups of coffee, and I just take this out, and I wonder if I put it on the floor, if it's just sitting like that, if I use my hand like so, it still has some, it's not going to jump out by itself, let's put it that way, but it's still not moving. And of course this is going to get better over time, because right now it's a little, if you ask me, it's a little bit too stiff in there. But I mean, that could probably be because it's good new. So, and also one thing, the cord, you can see here, how long is it? Maybe a meter, maybe. I'm not going to pull it out right now, but it's your standard length on home appliances. So if you have a lot of home appliances, you feel the cable is too short, you're probably going to find that this cable is too short too, so you would have to have an extension lead or something. I'm lucky to have 2 outlets just by my, where I have my coffee maker and where I will have the grinder. So for me, that's not a problem. And also, I don't know how bad the static is in this one, but as I said, all of the other ones I've seen that basically when you have a plastic container or grinding coffee at all, you'll get static. So the coffee, the grinded coffee will stick through the plastic bin here. And I've heard that it's not as bad if you don't have a plastic container, but the plastic makes it even worse. But that's just the thing. That's just physics. I mean, it's not something you can do anything about. I've heard someone when they grind beans, but that's like if you measure beans and then put them in before you put them in this container. If you do that and you just take a spoon and you just put it underwater like this, and take that and stir it through the beans like once, then put them in, and then that would take away the static. Don't know if it works, and I will never find out if this one does just what I want it to do, because then I'm never going to use that function. Simple as that. So we'll see. But as I said, well, I'll at least try it out and try to. Maybe I will make a video where I try to where I use it. I'm not guaranteeing that, but I'm going to come back with a review of it once I've used it, for a decent amount of time, at least, so I can say what I think about it. And if you have any questions about it, like things I missed here, like things you wonder, then just post a comment down below and I'll try to answer that, maybe in the next video or in the comments. I don't know. But that's all for now, and thanks for watching.